Hi, folks, as you're popping in here, welcome. We're so glad to have you today. As you pop into the room, please introduce yourself in the chat and let us know what brought you here. You know, if it's your first DataDive, it's your 10th. We're so glad you're here. We just really want to know who you are, where you're joining us from, and what brought you here today. As we let folks trickle in, we'll plan to get started at 5 past the hour. So depending on your time zone, here's your chance to grab your coffee, grab your dinner, etc. And we'll be starting at 5 past the hour.
I'm sorry, I don't recognize you.
So, welcome, folks, as you come in. We're just going to be giving a quick welcome every minute. We're going to be getting started at 5 past the hour. So as you come in, introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know what brought you here today. Let us know where you're from. Is it your first time with DataKind? Have you been a long-time volunteer? We'd love to hear your story. Welcome, folks. Can't believe we have nearly 100 people here on this evening or morning, depending on where you are. Welcome. Just so glad to have you here today. As folks are popping in, please introduce yourself in the chat and let us know just a little bit about yourself. Longtime DataKind volunteer, first timer, where are you joining us from? I know I've said this a couple of times to folks who are here right on the hour. We're going to start at 5 past. So here's your chance to take just 2 more minutes to top off your coffee, grab a snack, and we look forward to having this evening with you. Welcome, folks. Over 100 people here on this Friday evening. And if you're like me in Florida, it's a rainy Friday evening. So thanks so much for taking the time with us. We'll get started in just 1 minute. So here's your chance to get your chair positioned, get your volume tuned the right way. And we can't wait to kick off with you in just a minute. And if you're popping in now, please introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What brought you here today? Where are you coming from? It's amazing how many people are here from all around the world, and we just want to know a little bit more about you. All right, it's 5 past the hour. It's 6:05 for me here on the East Coast. So hello, everyone. Welcome. So glad to have you here today. I'm thrilled to kick things off tonight for our DataDive, shining a light on community to advance the nation. We have a packed 24 hours for you all, and I'm just so excited to go on this journey together. Now, before I dive in, I just want to offer a couple of quick housekeeping notes. So first thing is, at DataKind, we like to say we're tough on ideas and kind to people. So please make sure that if you're offering critique, if you're offering idea, offering suggestion, keep it on the ideas, not on the individual. I also want to note that we have closed captioning enabled for this meeting. So if you would like to use closed captioning, you can turn it on in your Zoom. We are also recording this meeting and this session, this kickoff event. So we will be recorded if you throw something in the chat or if you come off mute. And we will be able to share this for folks who aren't with us today, who want to take part in the kickoff. So those are just a couple of housekeeping notes, and Shayna and Caroline, our wonderful global volunteers team, can offer a little bit more in the chat for those who are popping in now. So can't believe it, there's about 130 of us here today. And the first round of applause tonight really goes to you, our volunteers and our community members. So big round of applause for you. Whether you've been with us since DataKind was founded nearly 10 years ago, or this is your first DataKind event, we are just so thrilled to have you here. Over 200 of you have already connected in our DataDive Slack channel, and we're expecting to see hundreds of you over the course of the weekend. Like I said, about 130 of us chatting right now. Wow, I'm just so impressed at the global representation of our community. So not only do we have volunteers here from Florida, welcome, we also have volunteers joining us from over 50 countries, which is just amazing. Now, our second round of applause tonight goes to our wonderful event sponsors. So a huge thank you to Teradata Cares, the Jesse Ball DuPont Fund, City of Orlando and the Orlando Tech Council, and IBM. Without you, this event would not have been possible. And for those of you who missed it, IBM actually hosted a Lunch and Learn event earlier today, and you can catch a replay in our DataDive event site, which I know will be shared in the chat too. Now, I want to do a few introductions. Welcome, I'm Caitlin Augustine. I'm DataKind's Senior Director of Product. So I lead the team that executes on all these awesome projects. I started as a volunteer back in 2014, and I've held just about every volunteer position. And like many of you here today, one of my first touch points with DataKind was a DataDive. I'm also a proud City of Orlando resident, and I'm thrilled to see so many from the Orlando tech community today. I want to do a quick shout out to say thank you to Rose with Black Orlando Tech, Kevin with the Orlando Machine Learning and Data Science Meetup, Frank with Bright Community Trust, and Brendan at Bungalower. Just thank you all for helping get the word out about this DataDive and the fact that we are doing work for the Central Florida community to shine a light for the nation. I'm joined today by my colleagues, Mallory, Phil, Emily, and Shayna. They are all leading different parts of this event, and you'll be hearing them throughout this evening as we talk about our great projects. Now, you'll also glimpse other DataDive staff moving in and out of their camera frames. Though we're remote, we're still easy to spot. DataDive staff are wearing these bright orange hoodies. Please reach out to any of us if you have any questions at all. So, what are we actually going to cover in our time together today? Well, tonight we're going through this kickoff presentation. So I'm going to give you a quick orientation to DataKind, tell you a little bit about what we do, how we do it, and then we're going to spend about the last 30 minutes just going deep into our projects, which I know is why you're really all here today. We're going to talk about our housing access project. We're going to talk about our work helping Floridians truly see the girl, and then a project that has taken on just exceptional relevance in these COVID times. We're going to talk about broadband accessibility. Then after that, around a 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to move into wander over to Wonder, and we're going to have some conversation and networking where you'll get a chance to learn more about the projects and connect with your fellow volunteers. Now, tomorrow, we're kicking off at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll have about 30 minutes just recapping this event for folks who couldn't make it tonight. Welcome and an orientation. After that, we're going to break into different rooms to do a work block for about 5 hours. So you'll work in both small groups and large groups. You'll be able to connect with your project champions, and you're going to start with data. You're going to build ideas, and hopefully we'll leave the day with some prototypes. And we'll end the day with a showcase, a wrap up, and a huge thank you. So, excited? I know I am. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that DataKind's work is only possible through the generosity of our community, our donors, our corporate sponsors, and to offer you just a request to consider supporting our work. You can help us harness the power of data science, machine learning, and AI in the service of humanity by having your company match your volunteer hours, considering donating, and if you donate, seeing if your company would match your contribution. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate your consideration of this request. So, who actually is DataKind? Well, we were launched in 2012, and originally we were headquartered in New York City, though now we're headquartered everywhere. And like I said, I'm coming to you from the City Beautiful down in downtown Orlando. DataKind is a global nonprofit that harnesses the power of data science and AI in the service of humanity. And we bring together teams of talented pro bono experts from across academia and industry, folks like you on the line, with visionary change makers in order to collaboratively design innovative solutions to tough social challenges. And I can't wait for you to hear from some of our subject matter experts over the course of the weekend. And what DataKind really does is we attempt to bridge that gap between technologists and the social sector. We are the bridge. We are that nonprofit that brings you together, pro bono data scientists and mission-driven organizations. And at DataKind, we're focused on tackling wicked problems. Now, these problems are problems that are hard, difficult, impossible to solve due to incomplete, contradictory, or changing requirements. And they often include an ill-defined end state. For example, could we say that we've solved poverty? No, the answers to wicked problems are not mathematically optimized, and often these problems are so interconnected that no one social actor has all of the information or the singular solution. So it's not that wicked problems can be fully solved, but they can be tamed. And at DataKind, we want to tackle them with you. So how do we actually do this? We bring together those mission-driven organizations and we help them identify their data and AI opportunities through DataKind's discovery phase. Then we recruit and work with teams of pro bono data scientists like you, joining us for the DataDive event. And we work to build those solutions. And after that, we stick around and we ensure that those solutions are used and that impact is achieved. And over the past decade, we've gotten really good at this. We have over 20,000 community members representing over 170 countries. We have 5 chapters around the world. We've held over 250 events, and we've delivered over $35 million in pro bono data science services. Amazing. And we're able to do that because we've been able to identify 6 components for data for good projects. And this is DataKind's secret sauce. So over our time of building out dozens of data for good projects, we've identified these key components that are essential for success. Now, I'm a data scientist, and many of you are too. And you might be shocked to say, wow, data science, that's only one of the 6 things. It's not even 20% of what you need to solve a data science for good problem. That's shocking, but it's true. Data scientists are just one piece of the puzzle. We need to start with an excellent problem statement. At DataKind, we're fond of saying a problem well scoped is half solved. And at DataKind, we really believe you start with that problem statement. Now, that problem statement can really only be created if you're working alongside social actors who understand the end user, understand the context that the solution must be deployed in, and subject matter experts who understand how to best solve that problem. Now, once you have that great problem statement that you've made with your key partners, you need funding. And at DataKind, we've been lucky enough to work with partners like Teradata Cares, like IBM, like the City of Orlando, like the Jesse Ball DuPont Fund, who have been able to take this perspective of de-risking the space for data science in the nonprofit sector. So you need partners and funders who are willing to go on this journey with you and to really blaze a new trail. And once you have all those pieces in place, yes, you do need data. You need access to the data sets that you'll use to solve your problem. And of course, you need the data scientist. And at DataKind, we know if we have all 6 of those components in place, we'll be able to do great data science projects in the service of humanity. For our projects, we look for project partner organizations, and I'm so excited you'll get to hear about 3 of our project partners later today, that we look for these organizations who are mission-driven, who have a clear theory of change, and know of or have access to digital data that can be explored in the service of the problem that they're working on. And most crucially, they have leadership who are committed to going on this journey with us at DataKind. When we have all those things in place, we're able to build solutions that answer some of the social sector's most pressing questions. And we help to do things like cutting costs and improving efficiency for organizations. We can help improve systems so that staff can do even more. And we look to be able to predict future needs so that we can better allocate resources. For us, what success really looks like is when DataKind and our partners have created these solutions that have been widely adopted and contribute positively to these social sector problems. Now, I wanted to share a quick slide from a 2017 DataDive event because it's not too dissimilar from this one that we're having this weekend. At that DataDive, we had projects that had big, meaty data sets. Emily, who's one of our team members who's going to talk later today, was a volunteer there. And I think she had to wade through something like 100 million financial transaction records. But that DataDive also had very tiny, rich data sets. We had just about 600 narratives written for My Giving Story. So we had a huge gamut. But through the course of hours of work, we were able to derive insights that let us answer an incredibly pressing question. Did Giving Tuesday have a positive impact on philanthropic giving? And if it had an impact, was it positive? Resoundingly, the answer was yes and yes. I share this example just because this was a project that started and ended in a DataDive event, and it had real lasting impact. A totally separate example, we worked with this project with Soil Haiti. Now, it started at one of our early prototyping events, and it moved on to becoming a full data core project. From one of these hours-long events, we saw the potential in a project, and we ran with it from there. So for this project with Soil Haiti, our problem actually really starts with a sobering fact that 36% of the global population lacks access to a toilet, which contributes to huge health and environmental problems. And where our partner works in Haiti, it was particularly evident in 2017, where there were over 14,000 cases of cholera. Now, Soil works to combat this by using container-based sanitation, a process where they deliver toilets to homes, they pick them up, and then they safely transform all of the collected waste into agriculture-grade compost. It's an amazing solution, but Soil came to DataKind with 2 challenges. And these were really managing the costs and logistics of transportation and having a lack of easy-to-use optimization tools to help them determine how to do things most efficiently. What we at DataKind were able to do were help to frame this problem as the capacitated vehicle problem. Now, capacitated vehicle problem, that doesn't really roll off the tongue. What we essentially did was say, hey, you've got a whole range of vehicles. You've got wheelbarrows, you've got ATVs, you've got pickup trucks. Each of those can carry a certain number of these container-based toilets. Great. Let's figure out where we should send each of those vehicles on which route to save you your resources, to cut both your travel time down and cut your travel costs down. And we did this by creating a software solution that leveraged open source tools. It took OpenStreetMap and Google OR tools. And eventually, we were able to build an application that produced an output of an HTML map plus turn-by-turn text instructions that could be used without cell and data access. And it's amazing, this solution helped Soil cut their travel costs by over 10%. Now, I share that again because it was something that started at a prototyping event and grew from there. And that's something that could happen out of this DataDive weekend too. We are looking for projects that have impact, and we're looking to scale those projects the most effective way possible. Now, at DataKind, once we realized these solutions that we were building, that they had these broad sector applicability. So that example project with soil, doing root optimization, we were able to actually extend that to another container-based sanitation group, a group named Sanergy, but we were also actually able to take that same idea and deliver it in another place to healthcare delivery with a partner, Riders for Health. So we knew that these solutions were broadly applicable to the sector, and that doing just one project here, one project there, that wasn't enough to make true sector-wide change. So we codified an approach called an impact practice, where we identify these similar opportunities and we look to build those solutions at scale. And I'm really just thrilled to say that just this past week, we published a blog officially launching our second impact practice in economic resilience. Now, this came after a year of research, prototyping, and planning, and a huge congratulations to Mallory and the whole team on this call who supported her. And I highlight this because the projects that we're going to talk about for this DataDive, each of these touch on a different aspect of economic resilience. And economic resilience is just incredibly important because when we think about the impacts, we think about people being housing insecure, 5 million Americans at risk of losing their home this year. The idea of unemployment or underemployment, that 64 million youth worldwide are unemployed. And we think about other measures of distress or need, 14 million individuals calling the 211 hotline every year. It's clear that this is a set of problems that need solutions, and we are eager to be a part of the team that's solving that. So I hope I've jazzed you up. I know I'm fired up, and I am optimistic that over this weekend, we will create data science solutions that can serve the good of many. So now a little switch, likely to what you've all been waiting for. We're going to dive in on our projects. Now, this is intended to be informative, but I'll warn you, it's a little bit like a pitch competition. Each of us DataKind team members is going to try to woo you to giving your time and talent to our specific social impact project. So with that, get ready, sit up, listen in. So first up, we have Emily Yelverton sharing about the work to combat housing insecurity. So Emily, take it away.
Thanks, Caitlin. So if you've ever been involved with DataKind before, chances are you've heard about some of the work we've done over the past 18 months related to housing loss in the United States with our partners, the Future of Land and Housing program at New America. Well, we're still facing a pandemic-related housing crisis, and this important work remains more relevant than ever. So housing insecurity is a persistent crisis in the United States. Nearly 5 million Americans lose their home through evictions or mortgage foreclosures each year. This already acute emergency has been made worse by the COVID-19 pandemic and resultant economic crisis, which has put 30 to 40 million Americans at risk of eviction, potentially making it one of the most severe housing catastrophes in US history. This is compounded by the fact that the eviction moratorium recently ended, and now millions of people owe many months' worth of back rent or they face imminent eviction. Though ultimate impacts from this will take years to clearly understand, the loss of a home through forced displacement is intensely traumatic to households and individuals, both financially, physically, and emotionally. But before I get into the nuances of what we'll be working on over the weekend, let me tell you a little bit more about our partners. So we've partnered with the Future of Land and Housing program at New America for going on 2 years now, and we've amassed a really exciting body of work, including the culmination of that work, a global good toolkit to enable local jurisdictions across the US to visualize their own housing loss data and enable them to take action to mitigate it. We've also produced over the last year or so 2 reports in coordination with New America, Displaced in America and Displaced in the Sunbelt. So if you're interested in learning more about this work, I encourage you to Google both of those reports and read them, because it will give you excellent background for what we'll be working on this weekend. Caitlin, you can go to the next slide. So as for our team, who is going to be leading this work? So I'm Emily, I'm a staff member here at DataKind. I will be the technical lead for this project. I'm joined in project management support by my wonderful colleague, Mallory Sheff. And I'm also joined by 3 core volunteers to help lead this project over the weekend: Lauren Camaro, Kavita Maheshwari, and Faraz Rahman. So thank you very much to Mallory and the core volunteer team as well. All right, so now the part that you've been waiting for. What data will we be using this weekend, and what will we be doing with it? So we will be diving into 3 main sources of data this weekend: the complete 5-year American Community Survey data for 3 different Florida counties, spanning thousands of variables across a multitude of different subject areas. We'll also be exploring census tract level housing loss, evictions, mortgage foreclosures, and tax lien foreclosures for these 3 counties. Finally, we'll be exploring a data set that's new to us here at DataKind in an effort to provide even more context to housing loss in the US: the National Housing Preservation Database, the only deduplicated source for comprehensive data on publicly supported housing property inventory. So we have a slight preference for Python coders for this project this weekend, but R users, never fear. R is more my flavor personally, so there's always a place for my data table or tidyverse enthusiasts. So regardless of your preferred coding language, I really encourage you to come work with me. And finally, your mission. So what impactful tasks will you actually be diving into this weekend? So we have 3 main sources of work here. So if you'd like to spend a few hours exploring a handful of mapping techniques to display eviction and foreclosure data in order to derive new insights about who is most likely to lose their homes, then come work with me. If you're more into exploring data sets with thousands of variables, comparing what changed over time, engineering new features to feed into models, then also come work with me. And finally, if open-ended exploration is more your jam, come dive into the National Housing Preservation Database and generate new findings about how the stock of low-income housing varies across the United States and how it relates to housing loss in 3 Florida counties. There's a little something here for everyone, so come hang out with me, come write some code, come meet some new people, and have some fun, all while working for an excellent cause. So that's it from me. Thanks, Caitlin.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Emily. So for folks who have questions for Emily, you can definitely throw them in the chat. You can also reach out to Emily on Slack, and you can connect with her in our networking session in Wonder in just about 30 minutes. For new folks who are popping in, I can't believe we're already at nearly 150 individuals on a Friday night. So welcome to new folks. Please make sure as you come in, introduce yourselves in the chat and tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from. Now, I'm actually going to steal the mic back a little bit right now because today I'm actually pulling double duty. I'm your MC, I'm guiding this conversation, but I'll also be leading this weekend's project work with the Dolores Barr Weaver Policy Center. And brace yourselves, hang on, because the project I'm going to describe for you really has something for everyone. And it has a huge opportunity to make a big impact. And many thanks to our early signups. We have over 20 volunteers already in our Slack channel, starting to claim tasks. So awesome, kudos to you. Now, joking aside, I want the scope of this challenge to really land with you. A report that the Policy Center published at the start of 2021 identified that Florida is home to 1.4 million girls who are enrolled in K-12 public schools, and that data shows they are in peril. These girls are experiencing alarming rates of violence and victimization in their communities, schools, and homes. There is an unchecked crisis of hopelessness, suicide ideation, and substance abuse that screams, we must take action. Now, heroically, organizations like the Policy Center have risen to this challenge. They are helping us in Florida truly see the girl. They tell the story of a girl's lived experience by using data from numerous sources, including public repositories. This data is essential to their research, and it's essential to ensuring that Floridians see the girl, and that we can also, as Florida, lay a path for a national standard in this type of research. Yet, the Policy Center team spends a significant amount of their limited resources just trying to manage data processing and creating the bespoke analysis and visualizations that give us such crucial statistics. Now, if we were able to help them free up their time from currently doing these incredibly manual processes, the Policy Center would be able to spend even more of their time advocating for and implementing solutions to these urgent problems. So, who are these partners? I'm actually going to play a quick intro video for you, introducing from our two major partners. Let them introduce themselves to you.
Hi, my name is Vicki Basra. I'm the president and CEO of the Dolores Barr Weaver Policy Center. The Policy Center is leading the Justice for Girls reform movement. We use and engage communities, organizations, and individuals to advance the rights of girls, young women, and those who identify as female. Since our inception, we've served over 2,700 girls, and we've focused on research, programming, training, and advocacy for the purpose of improving policies and practices that directly impact girls, specifically those girls that are being pushed into the juvenile justice system.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Patino Lydia, and I am the Vice President of Research at the Policy Center. I'm so thankful for this partnership with DataKind and all the volunteers that are showing up to help us with this project. Specifically, this project will help us see the status of girls across a range of really important indicators related to justice system involvement, and not just in breaking it down by gender, but also by race, ethnicity, and across region, across our state. And what it does is really helps us spend less time extracting and organizing data and more time really focusing on solutions. So for that, we are so thankful and look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you.
Awesome. So you'll get to meet Vicki and Vanessa over the course of the weekend, and I am just so thrilled to introduce the Policy Center to you and the work that they do to ensure that all Floridians truly see the girl. They have 4 main objectives of their work. They do research, education, and run advocacy programs and offer trainings across the state. And they do this specifically to advocate for girls, young women, and those identifying as female. Now, this weekend, I mentioned I'll be your DataKind lead here. Emily has also helped with quite a lot of the background work on this, so she's another resource if you have additional questions. Sophia, who's our technology team guru, is also supporting us and making sure that everyone has access to the right tools that they need for the weekend. And then we have 3 awesome core volunteers, Mark, Jackie, and Jack, who will be helping guide the work over the course of the weekend. So huge thanks to our core volunteers and the rest of our DataKind team. Now, as Emily said, you're all here to hear about the data. So let me tell you what data we'll be diving into this weekend. You'll be working with county-level public data sets from across Florida. And these data sets contain variables that Vanessa mentioned in her video. It's looking at girls on a lot of demographic indicators, but also their education, the discipline data, the arrest data, the different touch points that a individual might have had with the justice system. We'll also be looking at another level of socioeconomic open data sets. So we pulled not only the ACS data, but data from a number of Florida open data portals, such as the City of Orlando's open data portal. And one of our tasks for you is to please keep exploring. We'd love to see what additional data sets could be brought in toward giving us an additional understanding of this crucial problem. Now, what skills will you actually need to work with us this weekend? Well, this is a project that truly has something for everyone. So one thing we actually need is just excellent documentation. So to be able to actually document, where does this data live? How often it's being updated? How can you access it? What amount of manipulation does that data set need to go through before it's actually usable and machine readable? We need folks who really, if your heart sings when you do data visualizations, this is a project for you. We are particularly looking to build eventual dashboards in Tableau, but any visualization tool that you are comfortable in and you're interested in will be great for prototyping over the course of the weekend. And then we need support for data processing, data analytics, that next level of data steps. So if you have Python, if you have R, heck, if you even have Excel, that works for us. So please join us here. This is a great project for you if you want to expand your skills, really get started with data science. Now, your mission over the course of the weekend. So you'll be joining a team to work in 3 ways. You'll be working on data processing, data visualization, and data exploration, because our main objective is to make life easier for the Policy Center team. We are looking to build out tools, processes, analytics, visualizations that can make getting these data-driven insights quicker and easier for the Policy Center team so that they can spend more time solution building. So I hope this project does sound exciting to you. Please grab me in the chat here, grab me in Wonder, grab me in Slack. Would love to keep talking about this project. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mallory and Phil to share on our 3rd project, and one that really has never felt more urgent than in these COVID times, taking stock of broadband accessibility.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. My name is Mallory Sheff. I am DataKind's portfolio manager for Economic Resilience Impact Practice, and I am really delighted to meet you all tonight to share a little bit more about this project. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has really forced us all to live, work, learn, and communicate online, making reliable and affordable access to internet really indispensable in these current times. And so as these essential tasks of our day-to-day living have moved online, internet has increasingly become an issue of economic opportunity. We know that educational and other economic opportunities, as well as health outcomes, really depend on the availability of affordable, high-speed internet access. And this increasing reliance on broadband during this pandemic, as we've all been living for the multiple couple of months, has really accelerated and magnified existing disparities across the United States, disproportionately affecting low-income families and people of color. And what we can say is that this digital divide can really be seen as a microcosm of systemic inequality across the United States. And so this is a challenge that we're faced with today, and I'm really delighted to introduce the partners that will be joining us along this journey. And so DataKind is really delighted to partner with CDAC at the University of Chicago, which is the Center for Data and Computing, where interdisciplinary data science research is really at the heart of their work. They are a winning project of the Data.org Inclusive Growth and Recovery Challenge. And this team at CDAC that we've partnered with for this particular project is really working to create a complete assessment of broadband infrastructure across the United States. What they're really looking to do is to investigate innovative infrastructure solutions, which is something that we're going to explore together during our data dive. We're really looking to answer questions such as, where is broadband internet available? And what is performance like at these locations? As we know, availability does not necessarily equate performance. Part of the objective of their broader work is really to raise awareness about this critical issue and empower policymakers, industry leaders, and the public at large to make data-informed decisions. And so we at DataKind are really delighted to partner with the CDAC team over the course of the Data Dive engagement to leverage their subject matter expertise and work with you, leveraging your skills, your expertise in data science to really create an impactful project. As with other projects, we've introduced the team. I'm delighted to be joined by my technical lead, Phil Azar, and 4 incredible core volunteers. Thank you in advance to Caitlin, Stephen, Tanya, and Shwetanshu so much for your support over the past week and ongoing during the DataDive event. We will be here to answer any questions that you have, so feel free to connect with us on Slack or during the upcoming networking session on Wonder. And with that, I'll actually pass it over to my colleague Phil to tell you a little bit about the data that we'll be exploring in the course of this project.
Great. Thank you, Mallory. So as Mallory outlined the what, this is going to be the how. We have 2 broadband performance data sets to be working with. Ookla data set, which is a third-party measurement provider that provides speed and access of broadband across the United States. Then we have the FCC open data set. FCC's data set measures accessibility and availability of broadband internet by census tract level across the United States. And finally, using the American Census Survey to explore the correlations amongst the speed and accessibility of broadband data with socioeconomic indicators. We are looking primarily similar to Emily said, Python is preferred, but R is welcome as well. And the methodologies we're going to be really looking into is really data munging, how to make sense of these large data sets and really go out from the massive data sets down into the why and pinpoint into why is there inequalities between accessibility and speeds, and what can we hand off to our partners at the University of Chicago to say, this is where we see problem areas with these data sets and with broadband coverage and accessibility, and what they can use to drive their research forward. So thank you. I think with that, we pass it off. I'll pass it back to Caitlin. Oh, well, sorry, there's one more slide. So really what we're looking to do is to really align the performance across these data sets and find where there are gaps, where there are correlations between accessibility, availability, and socioeconomic indicators. We're going to want to visualize these maps. So if you're somebody who likes to make maps, this is going to be a great project for you. We're going to create maps to show where these contradictions between availability, accessibility, and the why behind that might exist. And then for non-technical folks, there is a path with you. There's a lot of open data in this field, and we have an open question around what other data sets can we bring into this problem that could maybe aid the University of Chicago. For example, they have a hypothesis that permit city data could potentially show indicators behind where broadband is being laid and where it isn't, and why that might exist. But these data sets are left unexplored. And so that's an exciting opportunity to dive deep into those data sets and understand, hey, does this even answer the question or not? Okay, and I think with that,
yeah,
yes.
Yes, it is back to me, but man,
it's always harder when you're not driving.
That very, very fair. But thanks for going deep into that. Really, again, just 3 incredibly important and timely projects for us all to be working on today. And I know that we're at about 150 people in the room, and thanks to those who are joining our conversation on Twitter and across social media. So please, as you get inspired, as you have some great thoughts, throw it out on Twitter with the hashtag DataDive. We at DataKind, we love data. And again, we hope that you are excited and you're ready to get involved with us this weekend. If you haven't joined our Slack yet, now is your chance to join it and to start to dig in and jump around to see which of these projects you want to join. Now, all of these projects do have this idea of starting at a community level. We are looking to understand housing loss in communities. We are looking to tell the story of girls across Florida so that we can ensure Floridians see the girl and that girls are not in peril. And we are looking to understand broadband access so that we can help close the economic opportunity gap. All of these are projects that at a community level will have deep and lasting impact. And we think, again, they are all projects that are being problems that are experienced across a sector, across a nation. And our hope is your contributions over this weekend will help us shed a light on these community solutions in order to advance national solutions. We hope you get involved. Again, we hope you get involved this weekend, but if this touch point today is your last one for the next 24 hours, no, not a problem. Still stay in touch with us. Follow us across social media. Join us. Grab our blog. Stay up to date. Also, I'd be remiss to say, hey, we're hiring, and we hope that some of you data scientists would join us there as well. We hope that you support our work through just showing up as a volunteer, but also through employer matching hours, or consider our personal donation page as well. If you have partners who are interested in funding our work, if you are part of a corporation or a foundation who does like-minded grants, we'd love to talk to you. That's kind of an abrupt switch here, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you every step of the ways you could engage with DataKind. And with that, I'm actually going to hand it over to Shayna to tell us a little bit about how we can keep this conversation going. And I'll note that everything we've talked about today, and indeed the other topics that we've covered, the DataDive 101 last week, IBM's Lunch and Learn earlier today, there's one central location for everything to be found. So we hope that you use that today, tomorrow, and in the future to make sure you really get the most out of this DataDive experience. So with that, over to you, Shayna.
Great, thanks so much. And if I'm not mistaken, Caitlin, we are trending ahead in time. So if by chance someone has a question right now about a project, we welcome you to put it into the chat if you feel so inclined before we go into wonder and talk for a little bit. So yeah, since we have a couple of minutes, feel free to put any questions in the chat. Oh, here's a good one. Can we join multiple project teams? The answer is yes, you can. Certainly we recognize it's hard to choose. So there have been volunteers that have gone from project to project to be able to help. So you are not forced into choosing one favorite, if you will. You're welcome to support any that strikes your interest. Great, another question. When and how do we get access to the data? Caitlin, do you mind answering this one?
Yep, sure thing. So for each of these projects, as you join the Slack, you'll get to pick the project that you want to start with, and you'll join that Slack channel. And in there, you'll find the project brief, you'll find the GitHub, you'll find every bit of wayfaring you need to get started. Now, if you want to start looking at that tonight, awesome. Otherwise, join us tomorrow morning and we'll actually be in Zoom rooms together, divvying up work, collaborating in breakout rooms, and driving forward on all these tasks.
Great, we're getting lots of good questions coming in. One around where they can find the IBM Lunch and Learn. That is coming. We are processing that recording and we will make sure that we share that out, certainly in multiple places on Slack. Also within our post-event communication, we'll be sure to also share access to those links as well. Here's a great question. Is there a checklist of tasks or possible tasks for each project? Caitlin?
Yep, so every one of the DataDive project briefs has tasks in it. So you should be able to open that up and see a list of 20 or more tasks. What we ask you to do is claim a task, give us your name, your email address, and link us to your solution. Now, doesn't mean you have to finish every task you claim. You can say, I tried this, here's how far I got, I'm gonna hand it off to someone else. It doesn't mean that only one person can do each task. You know, this is definitely a weekend of experimentation and of growth and of testing many different ideas. So we encourage you, if there's something you want to work on it alongside other individuals, because chances are we're all going to approach a problem slightly differently and we can learn from each other. So please, yes, every project has task lists you can definitely claim tasks that you are interested in working in. And we just ask that you share back all your materials. And then Shayna, before I hand it back to you to say something, I'm going to get back on my failure should be celebrated soapbox. So anyone who's heard me talk at DataKind events over the past years knows that I say we need to celebrate failure. And honestly, that's never more true than at a DataDive, because at a DataDive, we are intended to be experimental. You're going to be writing messy code. Some things aren't going to work, but because there are so many of us doing this work, it's actually really excellent to document and share each time something doesn't work, because your greater community of volunteers will learn from that. And when we think about what we're delivering to project partners, each of the project partners that we introduced today are incredibly resource constrained, and they're doing work that is crucial to the social good. And if we can save them time, if we can go through those experimentation failures and we can tell them why they didn't work, that will just make their data science journey more efficient, because they'll be learning from us. So please, as you do work over the course of the night, throughout the day tomorrow, share with us your work in progress, share with us your successes, and share with us your failures, and we will celebrate them all. Back to you, Shayna.
Great, thanks. I'm going to try and get through as many of these as possible, but no worries. We're going to also connect to the Wonder platform at 7 o'clock to continue the conversation moving forward. So good question around, is tomorrow the only time for project work, or is this a continuous process? So the short version of this is yes, tomorrow is dedicated to the work, but there could be opportunity for additional ways to contribute and help. We oftentimes will post about volunteer recruitment opportunities if there are additional steps that are more long-term, or we need more long-term volunteer support. Caitlin, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, so I would say we do hope that you share everything you do tomorrow with us. So consider that a first endpoint. So please, at the end of the day, share even your work in progress with us. If you do want to keep working on the project, we will be spending time refining all of our learnings, building out some of the prototypes that we think are most successful, and wrapping up all of our findings in a way that is comprehensive and useful for our project partners over a course of about 6 weeks. So by 4 p.m. rolls around tomorrow and you just haven't had enough, okay, reach out to DataKind. We'd love to keep you on board to help support the wrap-up process over the next couple of weeks.
Great, another great question. Let me make sure, because there's a lot of great comments. Do we have to join at the set time due to time zone differences? So I will let either Caitlin or others in charge of the projects weigh in, because I imagine sometimes if there are tasks, there could be opportunities for asynchronous work.
Yeah, so I'll quickly say, we want you to join us for as much or as little time as you can give us. So please don't feel like the only way you can contribute is if you show up for the whole day. However, each of the projects will be connecting with project partners at different times. And I think, Mallory, you really specifically have key meeting times scheduled with your project partners. Would you like to share those out to the group now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll share this also in the Slack channel, but we're very excited that one of our subject matter experts at CDAC and our data ambassador there will be joining us at 2 key times tomorrow. It'll be 11:30 a.m. Eastern time and 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And it will be really an opportunity for everyone working on this project to join for a Q&A session, to dig a little bit deeper into the project aims, scopes, ask some technical questions, to really better understand in context the work that we're driving towards.
Great. So lots of great questions. Slack will be your best friend. So one of the things that I'll emphasize, because I'm seeing a lot of great points and questions made about what are the next steps, when do I need to decide when we're going to start on the work tomorrow? So this is a great opportunity as we go into the second hour to keep the conversation going. I think someone asked around building connections. This is actually why we're about to go into our next session in about 5 minutes, to give the opportunity to continue the conversation, ask questions, connect with one another. So again, Slack is going to be your best friend. Let's see. So we we want to make sure that we're conscious of time. So I am going to talk a little bit about Wonder, and then we'll join there. Wonder is a networking platform where essentially you enter a room, and what you'll see when you enter the room are going to be what's called areas. These areas will have the names of the projects, and you'll navigate there, and it's kind of like your own little avatar. So you'll see lots of dots of avatars, and what you want to do is once you connect with someone, it actually automatically opens up a video chat. So I want to say that one more time. It automatically opens up a video chat. There, just to rule out any surprises there. Just want to let you all know. And then from there, you'll be able to connect with Emily, Phil, Caitlin, and others to be able to ask questions. You can connect with one another. I will also be there and share these same announcements. So I am going to put the link in there in just a moment if you don't have it. It does have a password. The password is Florida. Hopefully that's easy to remember, but Florida. So this will be a great opportunity to connect over the next hour. And then tomorrow, as you all get the chance to work, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, a pop-up trivia for you all to participate and win some prizes. Also, make sure you share about your experience on your social media, hashtag DataDive. Let us know how it's going. And then finally, if there are any questions that come up, Slack is a great place to start at first. We have an all help channel, but you can also email us at community@datakind.org. So I am going to go ahead, and if you all will give me just a moment, I'm going to go ahead and copy the link here into Wonder. And we will see you from 7 to 8. Again, the password is Florida. When you connect with someone, it will automatically open up into a video, and we look forward to connecting with everyone. I'll see you over there in just a moment. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So wander on over to Wonder. The link is there. It's also linked in the overall DataDive material, so you can click on that. Password is Florida. We look forward to continuing the conversation in Wonder and on Slack. Thank you, everyone who's been joining our Slack as the evening has gone on. So if you're looking to start working on stuff overnight, talk to us a little bit in Wonder beforehand. And if you're joining us tomorrow morning, we love to see you there too. So I'll keep this room open just as folks leave for the next couple of minutes. And I look forward to connecting with you at one of the tables. So talk soon. Just a reminder, as you migrate out of here, we're heading over to Wonder for some networking conversation and starting to talk a bit about this project or these projects. So I know folks are slowly leaving the room here. There's a link to Wonder both directly in the chat here. The password is Florida. It's also linked in your DataDive materials. Again, password is Florida as you pop on over to Wonder. Thank you, everyone who joined us tonight. And if this is our last touch point, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And a big thanks to all of our project partners and our project sponsors for running this session and letting us kick off such a great event. All right, folks, we're still about 30 of us in this room, and we're going to head over to Wonder to start talking about our project. So look forward to seeing you over there. We're going to shut down this room and stop recording now. So it was great connecting with you, and can't wait to dive into data tomorrow. So talk to everyone soon.